Hello, hello. Hey, I have a tip for you that you may or may not know. Will you please let me know? I thawed some chicken out when we went to church, so I'm just going to make a quick, not even a stir fry as much as it is just with like not even a gravy, with a nice chickeny broth over top of rice just for a quick dinner. And I cut up my celery like on the bias. Whenever I cut these, look, do you know what they look like? I'll give you a clue. Live long and prosper. I think they look like the Delta shield on the Star Trek people's shirt. You know, they communicate. Beam me up some stir fries early. Anyway, I cut them just like on a slant like that. And I have some carrots. I have some onions. So this is my point. Stay with me. If you cut this onion, and this was an onion that looked like that, took the peel off, cut it in two. This was the root. You know, I talk about the blossom and the root. Anyway, sometimes I cut it like this, in this direction. So let's talk about the grain. This is the grain. I don't know if you can see this. I hate my light in this kitchen. Goodness. Okay, maybe you can see it better like that. This is the grain. You know, it goes right along the lines. Okay, this is how you want to cut it for a stir fry. You don't want to cut it like this. You want to cut them like this. So if I just do this, God gave us these little lines to follow, you see. So what happens is, and this is what it'll look like in your Chinese takeout food, for instance. These little tiny segments that look like that. Oh, I missed that part of the root, don't you know? Just because I turned on my camera for y'all. But can you see what I mean? Like these little slivers. That's what it will be. And this is sweeter. I don't know why. That's just how God made them. They're sweeter and more consistent in their like toothiness or bite. If you go like this way against that natural grain, that's how I make things when I make peppers and onions and stuff. I guess I should always cut it like this, but I don't. So anyway, I'm gonna do the chicken first. I'm gonna treat it with a little cornstarch on there, and I'm gonna get going, and I'll show you at the end. But that's the part I wanted to show you. Like, depends how you cut it, if it's sweet or not. Like that. I'm also cutting my carrots so there's more surface on there too, like this. Here's a carrot. Sometimes you cut it like this. Boom, 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 boom. The little circles, I don't do that. And of course I'm protecting with my knuckle, and I go down like that. You can cut, and the more you turn your knife, the longer pieces you'll get. And they just look kind of pretty, don't they? Like that. But the thing is, make sure that you're cutting them pretty much all the same size so that they cook the same. It just looks prettier like that. Okay. This chicken breast is pretty big, so I just trimmed some off. I never waste this. I give it to the birds, specifically my crows and my cats. So I'm just gonna cut this like in chunks, and just like bite-sized pieces. Now this end is smaller, like not as thick, so I'll make these larger. Then I'm leaning in to do this. Then this side will be about there, about there, about there. See, and then it kind of equals out that. Does that make sense? I hope so. And then I put some cornstarch in a bowl, and I'm gonna just toss these right in. I have my WOK. I have my bowl that kind of really resembles a wok. I have that on low heat, but I'm gonna crank it up. I am gonna use a little bit of sesame oil. Can you see that? And I was in a store and I thought, I haven't used bean sprouts in a long time. And this is kind of like a liquidy one. Like I said, it's not really a stir fry, so that I can use it on and in this dish. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just wanted to show you. I wanna keep these pieces semi-even, like that, okay? I know my lighting's terrible on the stove. I don't know if this will help. A little bit. Anyway, I got like about half of them in here. I put a little sesame oil and a little bit of regular olive oil. I got the pan hot first, then I got my oil hot. I'm going to toss them around and get a little crust on them. The cornstarch does wonders with that. I used to just use flour, you know, regular flour, this part, but you live and you learn, and then you do better when you know better, right? So the one side's crispy already, you're going to get the other side. Now I am going to take these out when they are pretty much well cooked, and then I'll get the oil and the pan hot again, and a little bit of residual cornstarch is coming off. Do you see that? That's okay, it'll thicken the sauce a little for us. Two birds, as they say, right? But after I take it out, I'll get this, just the oil in it again. I'll put all my veg in, stir it around, and the bean sprouts, and a splash of soy sauce. What's that from? What movie is that from, Randy Dawn? Soy sauce. Does anybody know? Oh gosh, me and my movies. I used to subject all my nephews and nieces to the movies when they'd come over and stay. So, all right, these are almost finished, believe it or not. Okay, skillet's still hot. Chicken's over here resting around the horn. And that's hot because it's dancing. See how the oil like swirls? And do my onions. Step back, girl. You like a lot of veg. And then I'm going to toss these around. So they're kind of al dente. I make sure I get a little bit of oil on them first, you know, like that. Maybe I'll turn off this light. There we go. I can still see what I'm doing. And they picked up, see how the bottom of the pan doesn't have that cornstarch? Because they're going to stick on these, breaking up my onions that I didn't break up. And then it will thicken that sauce. Now by sauce, what do I use? For this very simple dish, like I said, a splash of soy sauce, and the bean sprouts, I drain, and I am going to rinse them off from a can, because they're from a can. You can put in whatever you want. I don't like those little bamboo shoots and too much else. Like I said, this is a fast Sunday dinner after a Steeler game. And then I can put chicken broth in here, or just even water, and you can use like a little bit of, I'm grabbing it to show you. Any kind of bouillon you like. I like a little teaspoon of this in there. It's powder. It disintegrates really easy. So, okay. Now see, these are going to be in some sauce, the liquid. So I don't want to go overboard, and this chicken will come back to life too, in that it'll heat all the way through. These onions smell so good. Yummy. Okay, very simple. Right now I still have it on like medium heat. Can you see the color of this? And I didn't do anything to it yet. Can you see it's like a light brown? That's because of the chicken. And I am going to add a little bit of this. Maybe just like that much. Regular teaspoon. It disintegrates really nice. And then I use this soy sauce. I like all different kinds, but this is like a light. You can't take it out, so just put a little bit in and see if that's to your liking, because I hate when something tastes too much like, ew, it's just all soy sauce, and it's to enhance, man, not to dominate. And I'm gonna add these can of bean sprouts that I rinsed and drained. Get in there. Hey, it's been a while. It's been a while, bean sprouts. We missed you. Yes, how about that? It just all of a sudden made it more authentic looking, now didn't it? Remember, you could only get like chop suey and chow mein at your local Chinese place. Well, when I grew up, honestly, that's all we had. Then, ta-da, there's so much more. And this isn't even like a name of a dish. I don't have a name for this dish. WOK chicken. How about that? So, and I'll taste this. Already that bouillon disintegrated, so I'll just get some little broth. It's still hot. Good flavor. I think I'm going to leave it alone. Now I'm going to turn it on really, really low. Finish getting my rice ready. And that way it's not mush, you know, a little overcooked. But doesn't it look pretty? I think so. I think the sauce is too thin. We like a lot of liquid, so I put a lot of liquid in. So I put a tablespoon of cornstarch in cold water, and now this is hot and boiling, but watch what happens. Just a splash. It's getting thicker. A little bit thick. See how it's thicker now? That's how Thane likes it, and that's how I like it too. So that's the one last part. If you don't have cornstarch, you can use flour and cold water. And see how that's like thicker already? Just like a big tablespoon with some water. Now I'm going to turn it back down. All right, almost. Rice is almost ready. I use jasmine rice. Hey, it looks like it's all finished. The chicken is cooked all the way through. Everything's hot. We're going to use our Wi-Fi bowls here today. And I'm going to start with, I like to use my scooper for the rice. Put it right in the middle like that. It's nice to portion it out. So let me see if I can do it like this. And the broth is thickened. Do you see that thing?
Yep.
Just put some like that. You can always add a little bit more liquid, which I might do. See? Like that. Get you some carrots. They're still a little al dente. And how about those bean sprouts? I said we haven't had those in a while. So it's probably steaming up. But there's our little stir fry, non-stir fry with our chicken.